Should China own American land? It's March 17th, 2025, and these are your headlines. Representative Brandon Gill doesn't think so. He's proposed legislation that would prohibit certain foreign adversaries like China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, from purchasing farmland nationwide. Now, Gill, from right here in Texas, he's a freshman. He told Texas Scorecard that if a foreign country prohibits Americans from purchasing land in their country, we should do the same to them. The Land and National Defense Act, or the Land Act, was introduced on Friday. It would not allow land to be purchased by individuals from countries that don't allow U.S. citizens to own land. The same restriction would apply to individuals holding dual citizenship with the United States and a hostile foreign power. The same restrictions would also apply to foreign-owned companies and governmental entities. Representative Gill's proposed measure requires the Department of Agriculture to notify members of Congress of any land acquired by a foreign purchaser, whether hostile or otherwise. It would also establish a U.S. Land Protection Task Force to report on the percentage of agricultural land sold to all foreign purchasers and the states in which the land was sold. Additionally, the report would include information on whether any of the purchased agricultural land is located within 100 miles of a military installation. Now, right here in Texas, several lawmakers, including Briscoe Cain and David Spiller in the House, have already proposed legislation to curb land purchases by hostile foreign nations. And in the Senate, Senate Bill 17, a priority of Lieutenant Governor Dan Patrick by Senator Lois Kolkhorst, is another measure aiming to address the problem. It's currently in the Senate Committee on State Affairs. A new measure targeting children's access to sexually explicit materials in schools has been filed just ahead of the legislature's filing deadline last week. House Bill 5021 by Representative Andy Hopper would prohibit public schools from purchasing or possessing any books, get this, listed in the Texas Department of Criminal Justice's register of books prohibited to prisoners. So if a book's not allowed in prison, maybe it shouldn't be allowed in a school. Now, the TDCJ lists more than 10,000 books with enough sexually explicit content to make them unsuitable for prison inmates. The measure was drafted by conservative activist Bonnie Wallace, who's long been outspoken against schools making graphic content available for children. She told Texas Scorecard that she's on a mission to protect Texas children and would have never guessed all the people who would be against this mission. My question to school boards, superintendents, principals, teachers, and librarians all across Texas is, why are the minds of hardened criminals better protected in Texas than the minds of our innocent children? Now, stopping the sexualization of children is a priority of the Republican Party of Texas this legislative session.
Are Texans playing the lottery, or is the lottery playing Texans?
Say, make money, money, make money, money, money.
There's an old saying that says, don't put the people who caused the problem in charge of solving the problem.
I'm Daniel Greer with Texas Scorecard. This is Rigged, coming March 19th.
Last up, a state lawmaker's proposal to let Texas children mark their parents' ballots has raised concerns with some election workers. House Bill 429 by Representative Ryan Guillen would allow a child under 16 who's accompanying their parent to the polls to mark a ballot at their parent's discretion and their direction. Guillen introduced House Bill 429 during a House Elections Committee hearing on Thursday. He explained that his goal is to encourage more voter participation among younger Texans by teaching them about the election process. But one longtime election judge recommended voting no on letting kids cast ballots for their parents. Cindy Castilla told Guillen that while families are welcome to bring their children to the polls, his proposal would create challenges for poll workers and could compromise election integrity. Now, Castilla, a conservative activist and the president of the Texas Eagle Forum, has worked in Dallas County elections for decades. She also cautioned that allowing unidentified people to mark ballots could enable paid vote delivery schemes. For more of today's stories, go to TexasScorecard.com.